Why Iran and the United States are closer to war than ever. For more than 4 decades, relations between Iran and the United States have been defined by hostility, mistrust, and confrontation. Since the 1979 Iranian Revolution ended U.S. support for the Shah and established the Islamic Republic, the two countries have viewed each other not simply as rivals, but as fundamental threats. Yet despite decades of tension, the risk of direct war has often remained limited. Today, that restraint is weaker than ever. By the mid-2020s, a dangerous mix of failed diplomacy, economic pressure, regional conflicts, nuclear escalation, and internal instability has brought Iran and the United States closer to open confrontation than at almost any point since the late Cold War. The collapse of nuclear diplomacy. The modern crisis cannot be understood without the collapse of the 2015 nuclear agreement known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA. Under this deal, Iran agreed to limit its nuclear activities in exchange for sanctions relief. International inspectors confirmed Iranian compliance in the years that followed. In 2018, the United States withdrew from the agreement and reimposed sweeping economic sanctions. Washington argued that the deal failed to address Iran's missile program and regional influence. Iran, in turn, saw the withdrawal as proof that the U.S. could not be trusted. As sanctions intensified, Iran gradually reduced its compliance with the deal. Uranium enrichment increased, stockpiles grew, and international inspections became more limited. By the mid-2020s, Iran had reached enrichment levels far beyond what was permitted under the original agreement, raising fears that it was approaching nuclear weapons capability. For the United States and its allies, this represented a red line. For Iran, it was leverage and a form of deterrence. Economic pressure and internal unrest. U.S. sanctions devastated Iran's economy. Oil exports fell sharply, inflation soared, and everyday life became increasingly difficult for ordinary Iranians. Food prices rose, jobs disappeared, and access to medicine became more limited. These pressures fueled widespread protests across Iran. Demonstrations were driven not only by economic hardship, but also by frustration with political restrictions and government repression. Security forces responded forcefully, resulting in deaths, arrests, and international condemnation. Washington publicly expressed support for Iranian protesters, framing the unrest as evidence that the government in Tehran was losing legitimacy. Iranian leaders interpreted this rhetoric as an attempt at regime destabilization. This dynamic hardened attitudes on both sides. Iranian officials became more confrontational. American leaders became more willing to consider force. A region on the edge. Beyond diplomacy and economics, the Middle East itself has become a battlefield of indirect confrontation. Iran supports armed groups and political allies in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. The United States maintains military bases throughout the region and strong alliances with countries that see Iran as a major threat. Throughout the 2020s, Iranian-aligned groups were blamed for attacks on U.S. forces and partners. The United States responded with airstrikes and military deployments. Each incident risked escalation. One of the most dangerous flashpoints is the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway through which a significant portion of the world's oil supply passes. Iran has repeatedly warned that it could disrupt shipping if attacked. Any closure or military clash there would have immediate global consequences. This creates a fragile balance. Neither side wants war, but both are preparing for it. Israel, alliances, and escalation. Israel plays a critical role in this standoff. Israeli leaders have long warned they will not allow Iran to obtain nuclear weapons. Covert operations, cyber attacks, and strikes against Iranian interests have been widely reported. The United States has consistently stated its commitment to Israel's security. Any large-scale conflict involving Israel and Iran would almost certainly draw in American forces. At the same time, Gulf states fear both Iranian power and regional chaos. While some have sought quiet diplomacy to reduce tensions, none want to be caught between two warring giants. The risk of miscalculation. Perhaps the most dangerous element in the current situation is miscalculation. History shows that major wars often begin not by deliberate choice, but through a chain of misunderstandings, retaliations, and political pressure. A single incident, a drone strike, a missile launch, an attack by a proxy group, could force leaders to act before diplomacy has time to intervene. Domestic politics on both sides make restraint harder. In Iran, leaders face pressure to appear strong in the face of sanctions and unrest. In the United States, political divisions and alliance commitments limit flexibility. Each side believes it is deterring the other. Each side believes escalation will force concessions. Both may be wrong. Closer than ever, but not inevitable. Despite the danger, war is not inevitable. Back-channel diplomacy still exists. Regional mediators continue to push for restraint. Military leaders on both sides understand the catastrophic cost of direct conflict. Yet the margin for error has narrowed dramatically. Iran and the United States are now locked in a confrontation shaped by fear, pride, and unresolved grievances. The tools of modern warfare, missiles, cyber attacks, drones, and economic weapons make escalation faster and harder to control. History offers a warning. When diplomacy fails, when pressure replaces dialogue, and when rivals stop believing the other side wants peace, war becomes less a decision and more an accident waiting to happen. That is why today, more than at any time in recent memory, Iran and the United States stand closer to war than ever before.